Oh, hi. If you're watching this on the replay, I am testing new software. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit rickety, but we'll see. This part here will be cut out and you'll probably never see it. So I've got a whole new thing going around the outside edge. I'm really excited about it, and I think it's going to give you a better show experience. And office hours is something that we do every week on Tuesday. It is, let me check to make sure I got something going. I don't think I do. Let me check Zoom. Where's my Zoom window? There it is. Uh-oh. Is it that one? No fixed time. Today at 4. Here we go. We're going to join that. So now I've got the members of the Zoom group coming in. And I'll manage that as that happens. But the members who are going to be coming in on Zoom are members of the Rug Hooking Journey. It's a month-to-month process that you can join. It is cheaper if you get it for the 6 months or for a whole year. If you're really unsure, join for a month, hang around, see what it's like, poke out all the buttons, explore everything. And then what you can do is join for a month and then switch over to a year at any time. You can do it on the same day that you join if you want. So you'll notice that everything looks a little bit different compared to normal. And there's bound to be some tech bugs today, but I'm going to keep a close eye on everything, and fingers crossed. I've done my practicing. Let's see if it works. So I'm just going to check a couple little things to make sure things are doing what they need to do. It looks like it. Okay, and my microphone is, no, needs to be this one, I believe. Hopefully, that's a speaker. No, I want that for speakers. What do I want for a microphone? Okay, not sure what that. Hopefully you can hear me. Julia, can you hear me? If you can turn your camera on real quick. We're the only 2 people here. Or you can put something in the chat, which I will open so I can see. Okay, we got some people here who are joining from YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you for finding me. Let me do a test. So there it is. Ooh, I need to change that color, don't I? So Tammy is here from Washington State. Let me see if I can get in and change that color real quick, because that was not something that I anticipated. And it don't look good. And you can't test comments until you have comments, right? So let me try this again. Okay, I need to find, this doesn't look right to me. Okay, let's do this. Change the text color to, what's the number of my blue? 0 F7780 and save. Okay, a little better. I'm still not completely happy on that. It looked different in the test than it is right now. So I can move it down like that, but then I lose the fact that the comment was from YouTube. Okay, so I've got it pretty much figured out on that. So let's give it a whirl. Julie is off also saying hello, and she is from Ottawa in Canada. Julie, I'm glad you're here. Now, the people who will be joining us shortly, they tend to roll in right around 4 o'clock, are going to be on Zoom. And they will be able to talk to me and ask me questions. This is part of our normal office hours. That's part of the Raw Cooking Journey. So what they get is that direct access to me where they could show me things on their camera. They can ask me questions. I can ask questions back, and it happens as a conversation instead of what happens, which would be just written text, right? So it's hard to get the answers. So I'm really excited about this new system. We'll try it, and we're going to see how it works. And I just had a window that popped away, and it's like, where did that go? Okay. Uh-oh. Now they all went away. That's not good. So we got about 8 minutes until we get started. So if you are on YouTube, go ahead and put some comments in if you've got questions. That way I'll have a little bit of a backlog. In order for me to identify it as a question, put a Q in it. I don't care where you put the Q. I'm just going to sort for the letter Q. Most comments will not have the letter Q, so you can say questions, you can just say Q, and I will find it. If you are on Zoom, this is something I really want to test, which is the comments on Zoom. So I can now put those on camera, which is something that I was not able to do before. So I'm really excited about that. Where's the comments window? Okay. I am all of a sudden missing a whole bunch of things on my screen. They just disappear. Okay, so this is back. That's good. Let's put this, oops, bring it back. Thank God for Alt-Z. I'm going to put this back over here. Julia, it's still you and me in the Zoom room. Oh no, there's 5 people here. Why is it only showing Julia? Did I do something?
I'm here, Cindy.
I know, I see it now. I see you, and I see Alyssa.
Kim's here, and Alyssa's here.
And why am I only seeing, it might be because I squished the Zoom window too small. That could be part of it.
Say hi.
That could be part of it.
Hey,
Hey,
Ethan.
there we go.
Say hi.
Hey, Ethan.
You say hi. Look, kisses. Yeah.
He's not feeling real good today, so
Ooh, still getting over that virus?
I think he got over that. Now he's got the next thing. So
Yeah.
he was at school all week last week, and then yesterday they sent him home again. So.
Okay. So I want to try something because I'm testing new software. And
That's you down there.
who wants to be a volunteer to show up on YouTube? Where did those windows go? Maybe it's
What are
here.
you doing? Be right here. You have to sit up.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Kim, can I share you on YouTube, or would you rather keep your grandson off camera?
Yeah, I don't care. Fine.
Okay, so let me
He's
try
fine.
this. Let me see how easy this goes.
Are you going to stay here? Stay here. Oh,
And then I need
You
to
might be leaving
go
anyway.
to
come here.
where the scenes.
Are you going to ride it?
Okay, so I didn't get you into the camera. What did I do wrong? There's something I did. I remember. We got, how much time do we got left? I don't know, because I moved away from the countdown timer. Let's go back to here. We got 4 minutes. And I'm going to have to figure out how. Assigned a placeholder, guest 1. Okay, now let's go to room for comments. There we go. So it crops a photo, so I can see Kim, so that's great. Looks like I have to manually type her name in. Holy moly. The other thing, okay, so I can take care of that maybe just before. Okay, I can do that. We have 6 people watching on YouTube. Thank you for the couple of people who put their stuff in comments. Here's the comment window. That's for Zoom. I want my combined comment window. So, if you are on Zoom, please put something in the comments. I don't care what you put in there, but add something to the comments. I want to see if I can get them on the screen, how it works, blah, blah, blah.
Are you talking about chat?
Yeah, put it in chat on Zoom. So Tammy Everton on YouTube, thank you. She's got 2 questions all set up for me. So I've got something to work with. Thank you, Tammy. Okay, so yes, it
Denise,
works.
and
But
I've got a question for you too.
okay, you can put it in chat or just say I have a question, and then I'll
Okay.
because I'm really going to be paying attention to the chat today. Okay, so I got to work on how that Zoom question looks. Alyssa is here from Arkansas, and Diana says all is okay. Yeah, with our weather and what we've had, all is okay is a good thing, right? My lips are sticking together. Okay, how much time we got? Let's go back to the pre-show. We got 1:22. As promised, I always start on time, but I don't start early. So if you're just now rolling in, you're seeing something a little bit different. I have some fancier equipment that I'm going to be working with. I can now put comments on. Kathy Purdy is here. I think I put all the comments on the screen except for Tammy's, which are questions. If you have a question, and especially if you're on YouTube, because that's going to be the only way you can communicate with me, what you need to do is to put a Q in somewhere in the question. I don't care if you forget and you put it at the end. That'll work. At one point, I'll sort for anything with a Q in it, and I'll find your question. Because there aren't many words that we use that include a Q. So that's how we're going to get doing on that. And as usual, those of you on Zoom, you can raise your hand. You can do it that way too. So that works just fine. So we have still 6 people watching on YouTube, not getting a whole lot of traction there, but I'm not doing anything yet. So maybe they'll come back, but maybe they won't. And what'll happen is I am using this session as a way for me to test what's going on, because I know there's going to be a lot of questions going on. So I want to get back to showing the questions. I can now show questions from Zoom. Like for instance, this one from Diana is from Zoom, and you can tell if they're in Zoom or if they're on YouTube. if they're on YouTube, let's do this. If they're on YouTube, it's going to have the YouTube symbol next to their icon. If they're on YouTube, then you're going to see a little YouTube icon like this one from Mary Burchett. You're going to see the little YouTube icon at the bottom of their icon. So now, how do you get an icon? Chances are the people who don't have an icon either don't have their profile set up in Zoom, or they don't have, what do they call it, a Gravatar that's set up for Google. And you can set up a Gravatar for your account, and that'll follow you in a lot of places, because YouTube's got Google has long fingers, and Gravatar starts with a G. It is part of YouTube, which is part of Google, which is part of the entire universe, I guess. We are set. We are ready to go. Okay, one thing that did not happen. This is supposed to go to the next scene, so I'll have to troubleshoot that and find out why it didn't go to the next scene. And I'm just going to go here. And let's go. My questions on the top. And I'm going to start at the top with Tammy. Today is all about questions. So please, if you're on Zoom, you can raise your hand. If you're on YouTube, you can just type it in the chat, but put the letter Q with it. That'll tell me that it is a question. When there starts to get a lot of things on chat, then what I can do is search for the letter Q, and there aren't many things showing up, right? So all you need is a letter Q. Oh, my throat is so dry today. I don't have any dry mouth mints sitting here. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to start with Tammy Everton's question. And she is saying, what is your favorite size hook to use? Now, that's kind of a double question. What hook do I use and what size is it? I use the same size for everything. Okay. And I know a lot of other people do too. It's just a matter of what works for you. The handle is actually more important than the hook, but you need to have a hook that works for you. Now, what works for a lot of people, see if I can find them. This is a Q&A session, so I didn't know what the questions were going to be in advance, so I'm not as prepared. But let me see if I can find a Hartman hook. Here we go. Here's one. This is not a Hartman brand name hook. It was bought from a charity that was run out of Australia, and I bought the last lot of hooks they had when they decided to stop doing it. So this is similar to a Hartman hook, but what gets me is this tip. It wears the daylights out of my finger. If I use it, like during a 4-day hook-in, I can only use this part of the time. What I like about it is it's got a wide shank, and that's what you want to look for. You want it to have a thick barrel there rather than something like this one. Okay, that's basically a crochet hook that's been shoved into a wooden handle. Well, does this work? Yeah. Is this my favorite hook? No, but I use it while I'm hooking a lot of stuff to sort of give my hand a rest. My favorite hook is this one, okay? It's a hand-forged hook. So it's a piece of metal that is tapered down, and then the end is heated and bent over. This is the hook that I use every day. I love it so much. At Solder, we had a service that would engrave them, that I got my name on it so that I don't accidentally sell my favorite hook, because I've done that a time or two. So I don't want to do that again. But what you look for in a hook is this bigness, the thickness around here. This is probably a 6 millimeter This one could be an 8. It's hard to tell. And I'm not as good with that offhand, but a lot of times that's how the vendors will describe it. What's important is that it fits in your hand and you can pull the loops up easier. If you are struggling pulling up a loop, then you need to come to my next beginner session, which I'm going to do another one next month. I just saw that this morning. Where was that? I think it's on. Oh, okay. I'll post it as a pinned comment on the replay on this video if you're on YouTube. I will also post it inside the replay on when that happens. And I think I just closed the wrong window. Okay, so if you are new here and didn't come early and hear everything I was saying, I am testing a lot of things, as you can tell. The area around the video looks completely different. And I'm back to that method where I show sharing the comments, which I had gotten away from because they didn't have it for Zoom. Well, they're testing it now, and I'm one of the testers, and it now works with Zoom. So good news, I'll be able to put Zoom comments up on the screen, which I'm really excited about. Okay, so let me get back to the comments. So Tammy, I hope that answers your question, but I pull everything from a 9 to a 3 on that. The problem with the thicker, more bulkier hooks, such as the Hartman style hooks, is I find these very difficult for small cuts. You got to get a finer one. But this one, which I would never part with, I can use this on every single cut size. So it's all about trying them. And where's the best time to try things? Is at a workshop when they have vendors and they have hooks that you're interested in. Ask them if you can use the hook and then return it if it doesn't work, or can you just borrow it and bring it back? You know, sign like an IOU. I owe you a hook, or I owe you $58, whatever that hook cost, okay? And the wider shank hooks are going to cost a little bit more. But if you want to start with a free and easy one, oh, I don't have one. Hobby Lobby sells a little hook with this kind of a fur foam cover. I just don't like the other end of it. This is on an old Nancy Miller hook. And in fact, this was a gift from Nancy, so it's very precious to me. Okay, Tammy, what other question did you have? Do you ever use wool locks? And I'm assuming, Sue, you're my expert on this. She's meaning roving, right?
Not exactly. It's actually the lock of the wool, I would imagine, like the curl, the long piece.
Oh, okay.
Like you cut your hair off and it's the long curly piece.
Okay. Well, and I can say that I have never hooked with that. So, hold on. I'm trying to do something a little bit fancy. Assigned a placeholder here. And then let's go to, once I get the hang of what I'm doing, I'll be able to do this a whole lot faster. But this is what I've got. I thought I put Sue on that camera. Guest one. There she is. I just got to change your name. Poof. I'm going to change your name.
I'm Kim. Wow. I'm honored.
Hey, you've come up in the world, Sue.
I sure have.
Okay, test. Did I spell your name right? Yeah, okay.
You just need an I after the P, but that's okay. It's really close.
Oh, really? There's an I in there. Okay.
You're really close, though.
I was close. I was excited, but okay. Now we're where we need to go. Now explain to us about the curls. This is the part I love about office hours, right? There are some things that I just don't know because I don't go on to that path less traveled, but I know Sue does. And she is our sort of group expert on stuff coming off the sheep. because she does it all, right, Sue? You clean it, you wash it, you spin it, you dye it, then you hook with it. I'm tired
Yeah.
of saying all that. Yeah, and look at that
Very.
beautiful, beautiful wool. Holy cow. Okay, so
Okay, Cindy, a lot of people use the locks for Santa when they're hooking a Santa for the
Right.
beard.
right. But is there a
Yeah.
trick to using them? A method? Or do you just grab it and pull it up?
Just grab it and pull it up because they
Yeah.
aren't connected by any means.
Okay. So do you
So-
end up with just ends, or you pull it up and leave because you want the curlies to show?
Right.
Right. So you leave the ends hanging out. But I'm just trying to think of how. So Diana, have you done that before? How do you anchor the one end?
No, I'm like you. I haven't done that.
Yeah.
But I
think
know
if
that's what they do.
Yeah, I think if it's sticking up on the top, that secures it as much as if it's sticking down in the bottom. Now, I know from using roving, okay, I have used roving. I haven't used locks. When I use roving, I still hook the Santa beard in some kind of wool that I know will look good. And then I add the roving, and I would guess the locks, in between that hooking. If something would ever happen and they wear completely off, I'm covered. I got wool, I got regular wool fabric underneath. So,
That's a good idea.
yeah.
They may bring it up as a loop and then pull it through like a latch hook.
Oh.
Oh.
I'm
Oh,
betting that that's what they do.
I never thought
Because
about
that's what
doing
they
it that
encourage.
way. And you could do that with your regular hook or a latch hook if you got one sitting around. But that way you have two ends on the top and it's secured by a knot, basically.
Right.
Let me go try that.
Yeah,
Right.
okay. Sue will be back. I know how she works, and she will she will be coming back, and we'll be able then to figure stuff out. So let me find the comments again. Keep losing where I'm at. So Tammy, I hope that helps. Sue is going to test it on an area, and she's got locks sitting around. I don't. And we'll get that figured out from you. Mary wants to know, when is the next wool sale? It's at the end of June. So we did not do anything in April, which was because Kim and I were out of town. And then May is Memorial Weekend. So the next one is at the end of June. If you go to my website, CindyGayRugCooking.com, you will see that that link or that information about when the next wool sale is. So about an hour or two into the sale, it changes to the next date. That's the word I'm looking for. And it just kind of, I got the whole year planned out, and it just automatically comes up and does that. Now, if you come and you're late, meaning it's after 2, click on it. We're probably still there. The link that we use for the wool sale is the same as the Saturday hook-in link. So what we do is we simply we do the wool sale, and we move into the hook-in whenever all the business is done. So that gives us more time to help people if they're struggling with the checkout and that kind of thing. But it will be, I don't want to say a date because I know I'll get it wrong, but it's on my calendar, which you can subscribe to. And it is definitely on the website on CindyGayRugCooking.com. Okay. When is the next wool sale? So we have a question from Kathy. She says, should I have any of my foundation showing between my loops or anywhere throughout the piece? On the back, yes. If you absolutely cannot see any backing, you're putting it way too thick. And what's happening is your rug is packed. So the rug ends up becoming sort of a hump that you're going to have to push down and steam down, but that puts pressure on the backing. So don't use more wool than you have to. It's not a, yay, I've got it covered, because you might be permanently distorting your rug and it'll never lay flat if you go with too much. So there is a way to check to see if you are packing. Let's see how good this works. Right here. Okay, so move that over. Get this in here. That camera's upside down again. So Nicholas, if you're seeing this part, edit this kind of stuff out. Where do I need to do that? I need to do that at camera. Oh, that is camera effects. And it's this one. And I want to rotate it. There we go. So to know you're packing, you want to hook a long line. And down this line is going to be your loops, right? Like this. If you put them too close, they're not going to be able to stand up on their own. So if your loops are leaning to the side, that's not good. But if your loops stand straight up and down all by themselves, that's the way you want to do it. So just hook like you would normally. It's easier to see this if it's on a single line with nothing on either side of it. So you can always move your backing to another place, move it over so that you can hook in the margin and just do a single row. And that's going to be the best way to do that. Okay. Any questions from the Zoom people? I mean, you're my people, so I'm here for you guys. I mean, I've got a lot more questions from the YouTube people, but do you guys have any more questions? You can all.
Denise, I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a rug that I started, but I don't know how I'm going to finish it. It's a pictorial with a lot of colors and no border. So it's just kind of like a smooth finish, but it's going to be lots of different colors along the edge. So I really don't want to do a full forward finish because I'd be changing the yarn every few inches, and I don't want to have to do that. Do you have suggestions?
Okay, I do. One of the things that I don't do, oops, that's not what I want. Hang on, I'm going to use this one because this one shows my down camera. I can't find the other one right now. What I don't do is, particularly on a pictorial, you got something like this, and maybe you got some trees, and you got a little house over here or something around going on, and you would have blue and then green and whatever. I never go through and match that, which is what you were talking about, mainly because this is curved down. And if I suddenly do that straight, right there where the color changes, to me, that just throws the whole line of that mountain off, right? So instead of doing that, pick a color that frames the rug. So let me ask you this. I gotta get back to my other one. This one. Okay. So, where do I take that comment down? Okay. So, chances are, I don't think I've ever seen a landscape, unless someone's doing something weird, like they're making it all monochromatic and it's purple. If you're doing a real color landscape, chances are you've used a dark brown you might have used, because you got tree trunks, you might have used a darker blue, maybe for something, or any other color in your rug. You can pick a color and use that to go all the way around. For me, I would definitely whip it with my favorite, I'm so focused on the tech. I'm missing the rug hooking stuff. What is that? My favorite yarn.
Cascade 220.
Thank you. Cascade 220. My favorite color, 9458. They don't make anymore. But luckily, I stocked up, and I should have enough for the rest of my life. But find a color you like that complements your rug, doesn't necessarily match it. In a neutral, like a brown, tends to work extremely well.
Just like you do any other fiber.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, okay. Thanks. Now, what I am hearing is that there is some echo. Where did I see that? When Sue and others are speaking. So what we'll do in the future is maybe ask you to wear earbuds if you're going to ask a question. And I'm doing this broadcast. I will not, for members, I will not be doing this every week. Okay? I'm not going to take away from that. I'm just using the people who might want to watch this on YouTube as my testers. And thank you for showing up and asking questions. Julie is asking, is there any way to determine the size of a hook? There's no standard language. So it's not like crochet hooks where you can go out and you get a 4 or 5 or a J or whatever it is. That doesn't exist because most of the stuff for rug cooking is made like in people's garages, right? So there's no official standards. You need to find a hook that works for you. And for me, it's the one with the little bend in it. I use that one all the time. That works really great for me. And you can experiment with it by pulling up different cut sizes and see if it works for you. There's no, you need a size 4 hook for these cut sizes. If anyone tells you that, they're selling rug hooks. Okay? There's no such standard. There's no such standard. And if you've got a hook and it works and you're pulling up the loops, that's the right hook to use. Tammy is asking, is that considered a long or a short hook? I don't know. Some manufacturers will talk about having long and short ones. I've seen some much shorter than this. So I don't know, maybe, is this a long one? I don't know. It just depends on that manufacturer's language. There is no universal standard that I've ever found. And I've been hooking since midsummer of 2000. I've never found a standard for hooks. Everybody just kind of like does their own thing. Okay. I just ran out of questions on YouTube. So if anyone on Zoom has a question, you can ask me the way you usually do on office hours. Sue, go ahead. I bet she's got it up.
So
I feel like I need to
thing.
say, okay, let's go to Sue. Sue is now. I got to figure out.
Okay.
Wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. I got to get you back on camera. This one, I think. Yes. Okay. Although I wish it was just you, but this will work for now. So where did you pull it up at? It's coming along great, by the way. So this is the
thank you.
This is the curls that you. Is that what you called it?
Right. So
Locks.
this one, I just took the curl and I just hooked the length of it because it's about 6 inches long.
Okay.
So I just hooked big puffy loops. This one I pulled through like Prodi.
Oh, okay.
And it's just hanging there. Now everything I looked at pretty much uses this method,
Mhm.
but I think you could probably, if you had a reason to put something fluffy hanging off,
Right. And it would look more like a real beard because it would hang down, right?
Mm-hmm. So you could do it that way too. So
But I do
anyway,
like.
that's
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
just kind of what I thought.
Okay. Looks good. Thanks, Sue.
Right.
So the let me get it's like, oh wait, still has this up. I am just like, I feel like I'm a one-legged man at an ass-kicking contest, which my father-in-law used to always say. So I'm going to add this to the broadcast and take it away. That'll work. Okay, so I am monitoring YouTube comments. So if you have a comment, if you have a question, get my attention by putting a Q in front of it. We're talking anything you want to talk about rug cooking. Sue.
I just had a comment on the question about rug hooks. Because everybody, like you said, everybody uses a different one. I use a Hartman 5mm, and I pull everything with it.
Right.
Not a problem. But I think also to talk about is maybe the different ways of holding a hook, because that makes a difference too.
That's true. That makes a big difference. So let's go to. Let's go here. So when you have a hook like this, it is recommended that you hold it so that the part of the handle hits the middle of your hand, right? So this one doesn't quite fit in the middle, but it hits further back. I use this one. This was one I used probably in the early 2000s, pretty much all the time. I love this hook. It's got a flat area. It helps me to register the hook, meaning get the hook in the right direction. If you don't have it, you do what I do. If you can see it, you look at it. I can't see it, okay? So my up-close vision is really, really bad. So what I do is I feel for it and then hold it in a certain way and then put my hand on it, okay? If you hold it this way, and many of you might, okay? I've seen this done in hook-ins. This hook is not designed for that. The pencil hook, which looks more like a pencil, looks more like this. This is a marker, of course. It's not a hook. But you would hold it like this, and that's going to be okay for very, very small loops, meaning 3s. If you're doing anything bigger, do not get a giant pencil hook and then hold it this way, because watch what happens. When I'm hooking, I'm moving and flexing my fingers. I'm moving these little tiny muscles. When I hold a hook like this, my fingers stay stationary, and what happens is that motion is in the big muscles, right? So I'm not going to get as tired as fast. I'm not going to end up with some fingers that are so sore that you're going to need surgery, and you maybe have to give up rug cooking. Protect your fingers, ladies, and hold the hook like, I guess, how I imagine I would hold a butcher knife if I was going to defend myself, right? So you put your hand and wrap your fingers around it. The key thing is to get that in the palm of your hand, and then as you're hooking, there is no finger movement at all. You're moving your wrist, your elbow, and your shoulder, and that's going to be it. And if you have problems with any of those muscles, what you're going to want to do is just go down in cut size, okay? A number 8 is not for everybody, right? I see a lot of people on Zoom nodding. Yes, they like the small cuts. And the small cuts give you more detail. They're also not as taxing on your body. So that is a very important element of that. Okay.
You know, Cindy, there is a difference in the curved hook, that comes down. There is a long and a short one of that.
Okay. And I don't use those.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried them.
Use it.
I tried it and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But that's why it's important to try them. But there are people, and Diana, I'm suspecting you might be one of them, you would never part with your curved hook.
No.
you know,
And mine's a long one. Mine
Okay.
is the long one.
okay.
And so the larger of my cut, I use it, but not for a 3. When I'm
Okay.
doing 3s and 4s, no, I go back to my other little straight hook
Okay.
that I use all the time.
Right.
So there is a difference.
And I think it's important to rotate through your hooks. So if you've got a couple of different hooks, you know, like I have this one that has, you know, a skinny little thing on it. I have that one that's a little bit thicker. And I might even spend some time, you know, using, you know, the Hartman style hook. It's not my favorite. But when you start to fatigue, what you do is go to a different hook. It has a different hold on it, and it's going to make your muscles work differently, and it's going to be much safer for you because you're not doing all the same thing all the time. Okay. Let's say hi to Peggy. Glad you found me. Hi. I can now put YouTube comments up, and I can put Zoom comments. But if you're on Zoom, usually the best way to get my attention is to put your hand up. And that's the digital hand up, or it's the turn your camera on and flag me down method. That works. Okay? I will see that because I monitor the gallery view, and I will see you doing that. So if you don't know how to do anything on Zoom, it's okay. Just do this. I will see you. Any other questions, either from YouTube? I've answered all the YouTube questions. Anything else from Zoom? And for those of you that are just new watching, particularly if you're on YouTube and you're not a part of my community, which you can join by going to howtorughook.com, but I will be having a beginner live lesson. And if you come in on the YouTube or on the Zoom part of it, I am here. We can look at each other. I can answer your questions. I can ask follow-up questions. It's so much easier to help a beginner on that special broadcast. And it's on a Saturday, and I was looking for it a minute ago and never found it. So let me see if I can find it. Trouble is, it messes up all my windows. Okay, let me see. Live beginner lesson. The next one is May 18th. May 18th. And if you are subscribed to my calendar, it's not showing up because I had it on the wrong calendar. So I will put it, make it live. It's on that calendar, and it is at 2 o'clock, which gives us 2 hours to go through all the questions. We don't usually need 2 hours, but I will stay there for 2 hours. I'll actually stay there longer if the questions keep coming, because it'll roll right into the Saturday hook-in. And that's a free lesson to all members. You can come with me on Zoom and ask those questions. It will be broadcast to YouTube. You can ask questions in the chat, but that's not as satisfying as talking to me live. Okay, nobody thought of questions in that meantime, did they? So it's still early. It's only 4:34. Let me see if some comments came in from YouTube. I can't get my comments to show up on top. Here we go. Nope, there's no comments from YouTube. So let me think of what's coming out. What we normally talk about now when there's no questions is what's the calendar look like. So tomorrow is open to the public, a hook-in with Kim Hurt. Then on Saturday, also at 4 o'clock, both the hook-ins are at the exact same time. They're at 4 o'clock. On Saturday, I host the hook-in, and that's also at 4 o'clock. So in that link, that's open to the public. So that is available on CindyYayRugCooking.com. And you click the hook-in link, and as long as long as Zoom is on your device, you'll flow right into it, and it'll work perfectly.
Cindy, do you have, are you starting this month to do the footstool?
Yeah. That's the week
Okay.
after next. Well, or is it next week? Yes, next week is going to be, we're going to talk about footstool styles, because there are some footstools that I think you should stay away from, and some that are perfect candidates to make either a slipcover or a full upholstery on. And we'll talk, I've got some pictures that I've gathered from Google. I've got some examples of footstools that I've done. And then the week after that, it's on the calendar. The week after that, we're going to talk about how to make the pattern. That includes the funky little thing you need to do to make the corners work. We don't make square corners. Otherwise, they stick out like dog ears. And then on June 11th, we're going to talk about design tips. So if you're designing your own pattern, making that pattern go over and around the edge can sometimes be a little bit mind-boggling. And I'm going to walk you through the steps that I used when I was developing patterns, how I made it so it's pretty when those side seams come together, and how to hide those side seams, all that kind of stuff. So that's going to happen on June 11th. And that's all I've got planned out for the footstools. So what this mini spring lesson, which is free for members of the Rug Cooking Journey, what this is bonus content to the IKEA stool course that I've had. IKEA has done its best to kill my course. That's the only thing I can say. They discontinued the one called Niles or Nils. Then they discontinued the next one that I went to, which was Zacharias. And then I found something else that had no wood, very little foam. So I thought maybe they'll keep that one around, called Bossness. That one is discontinued. So we can't get that. So there's good content in that course. But what I need to do is to teach you how to make a pattern for your antique stool that you found at the antique store or at the garage sale for 25 cents, right? So that's where the direction of that course is going. So if you're a member, buy the course. If you don't own it, use your member discount, because once I get these other courses done and I put a new picture on it and I think of another name to call it, and by the way, I'm looking for a name. So if you've got any ideas on what to call the IKEA stool course, let me know, because I can't use that anymore because it's not going to be focused on IKEA. It's going to be focused on making any footstool pattern. And once I do that, once I rebrand it, I get those videos edited, they get posted, I increase the price of the course and then release it again to the public. So if you want to be on the leading edge and you know you're going to want it, get it now, is what I'm saying. Diana, you got a question?
Well, yeah, sort of on that line of the footstool.
Mhm.
Are you going to, the patterns that are already there, are you going to tweak them so we can do them to any type of footstool?
But that's impossible, because I don't know if you're doing a piano bench or if you're doing a little square footstool.
Okay.
Okay. So
Because
what
I did it.
yeah, if
I
it's
took
close,
the footstool and did it, which
if
was
it's
not
close-
easy.
yeah, if it's close, you can fudge it. But what this is going to be about, making the outline. So maybe for the design, because some of those designs are very unique, what I might do is make a PDF of just the motifs.
Yeah.
And then you can rearrange them how you like. So
Well,
it'll
that would
become a design your own, create your own pattern for your footstool.
Okay.
But I need a title that's a little bit smaller than that. So let it percolate, and if you come up with something, that would be perfect. Oh, Peg, this is a good one. This is Peggy's sit on it. Okay. The problem is people, when they're searching, they're not going to search for that, but I like that. So thanks for explaining that, because then she sent me another text that said that's the new name. Yeah, because that would need some explaining. So thank you on that. So what do you guys think of the new layout? Is it harder to see? Is it distracting with the stuff? I mean, I had an intro at the beginning with the countdown timer, which is something I used to do back in the day with Zoom. We always did that before. That gives me a chance to sort of prepare behind the scenes, and I think I'll go back to that. But I just need your honest feedback. What do you think?
Hard to see the down camera. When you were showing
and
the
I
photo,
didn't have a good, I don't have a good
it's not
view
big
for that.
enough.
Right. So I definitely need to fix that. And I didn't spotlight myself too, so that didn't help. So I don't know
That's
if you
true.
were looking at the gallery view and then half of the gallery view, then it's really hard to see. Yeah.
No. Yeah.
I like all the worms in the background.
Yeah. You know those worms.
I was going to say,
I
we
do.
know where those words are.
You saw those worms be born. Okay, let me see if there's any comments I've missed. Whoever gave me the thumbs up, I was probably on YouTube. Thank you. That really helps YouTube to deliver my rug cooking lesson to maybe another rug cooker. So, and if you're not a subscriber on YouTube, please subscribe. I haven't posted a real video, is what I want to call it, on YouTube in a while. It's been a minute. It's been a long time. Mainly because of the surgery on my knee a year ago. But that's one of the things I plan to do coming up. So,
I have a question.
yeah.
This is a landscape question because I'm doing it right now. When you hook grass, I know when we hook sky, we tend to go horizontal,
Yes.
or at least kind of wavy horizontal.
Right.
Do you do the same thing with grass?
Okay. I try to make the two textures or the two areas different. So if I know I'm going to go wavy on the grass because there's little hills and slopes and that kind of thing going on, I tend to make the sky more straight, right? Okay. That way you've got a difference in the way they're hooked, and you have a difference in color, but that would also give you a difference in the way it's hooked. If it's normal Ohio grass, I'm going to say it that way, because Ohio is flat as a pancake, okay? We started a new guild called Black Swamp Rug Hookers. This area was known as the Black Swamp, and I'm saying it goes from like Cleveland all the way past Sauter into Indiana. It's this whole northwestern part of Ohio. There are no hills unless someone built them. Okay, we have expressway ramps and that kind of thing. And people have some little mounds in their yard, but for the most part, there are no hills here because we are a drained swamp. When we put our barn in, my son dug a test hole. We wanted to make sure that the backhoe was not going to rip out the line from the well. We thought we were okay, but we thought, some hand digging would prove that was going to work okay. He dug down 48 inches, 4 feet, until he hit clay. So basically, to translate that, my yard in Pemberville did not have that much. It might have had a foot. My yard in Toledo, when we had one, 6 inches if you're lucky. So 48 inches is quite significant as far as topsoil goes. And there was a reason for saying that, Black Swamp. Okay, so the ground is flat. So for the most part, I will hook them very straight. Now, if you have the Apple default wallpaper, which I do, and right now it's really cool. like when you turn it on, it looks like you're flying and you're going across this landscape. Look at the lines. It looks like it's a vineyard. And you can see how there's some little rises and falls and how some of the lines cross into, because the hill is raising in front of it. Then you can really see that. So take a look at that. Look for how to draw hills. That's going to show you how to hook. How to draw a landscape might be too involved when you're only looking for the grass. So I can't think of something. Let me think on that. If I think of something before we leave each other, I will be sure to get that out there. Oh, here's one I can knock out of the ballpark. Thank you, Tammy. She says, what's your favorite wool cutter? Okay, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. You're going to look for a cutter. You're going to find a Bliss or a Rigby. I had 3 Rigby double Ds, meaning they had multiple cutter wheels on them. They had 2 on each cutter, and I had all 3 lined up on a table. This one is a Townsend cutter. I guess it goes this way. I bought it when they first came out. I would not part with this. Okay. To tell you a little story that I love about the Townsend cutter, there is a designer who was on TV called Frank Bielek, and he was my favorite. He was on Trading Spaces. I think he might have gone back to that show, or if I saw something that looked like maybe that was coming back. But what he was a teacher. He was teaching rug hooking, and we had tornado warnings, and then we had a tornado siren. But while we were preparing with the warning going on, Frank's plan was he was going to grab his wallet and his cutter and jump in his bathtub. Okay, the problem with that theory, he was on the 9th floor. Okay, so maybe he's not used to tornadoes. I don't know, but I love that conversation, and I love the fact that he thought his Townsend cutter was so important that he wasn't going to go out without it. He was going to take him with it. Now you can get them. They're called, I always get this mixed up. It's not Honey Beehive. That's the patterns, right? It's Beeline. Beeline is the cutter, and you have to buy it through a distributor. So you can Google on that. If you're looking for a rare cut size, something that's getting hard to find, which are the smaller ones, like the number 3s, there are some sellers who don't keep an inventory on their website, meaning they have it out there. You can put it in your cart, you can check out, but they can't mail it to you. So always check about the availability. Do they have it on hand? That kind of thing. A big distributor that I trust is going to be Door Mill Store. Okay. They provide us with the best wool for rug cooking. They are a dealer in the Beeline cutters. And one thing I would avoid, because a lot of people get that because they think it's better, it's not necessarily. There is one called Long, and you need a different plate here, and the cutter blades are much longer. It cuts more in one pass. Okay. In my opinion, the only people who need the Long are people who are cutting all day because they're making kits. If you are cutting for your own rug hooking, you never want to cut more than what you're going to hook. So I will do maybe 1 or 2 passes and put it in my strip sorters. Then I'm good. I'll safety pin the rest of the wool to my ring. Everything's together. When I need more, it's going to be real easy to cut more, but I'm not going to have it all cut. And the reason you don't want to have it all cut is because you don't want to need that wool and you've cut it in a 3, but you need it in a 6. You can't glue them together, right? So only cut what you need, and that's going to be your best bet. So I'm going back to the question, make sure I answered it. She said, what's your favorite wool cutter? It is the Beeline, which looks just like this. They bought the company from the Townsend when Mr. Townsend died. So they're making it as close to this as they can. Okay, but if you find a used Townsend cutter, I would grab it, quite frankly. They're expensive, okay? To me, it's like planting a tree. It's a tool that you're going to use. It's a tool you're going to need. It's a tool that'll last the rest of your rug cooking career, okay? Your families are going to have to get rid of this cutter, right? If no one in the family claims it. So it's good to invest in something. These are now worth more used than what I paid for it, okay? And the same with the cutter blades. So it's like planting a tree. When's the best time? Today. But even better than today is 20 years ago. So it's the same thing with the cutters. Don't wait on getting that, okay? It's not going to go on sale. The prices are not going to go down, and they're only going to go up. When I started hooking, the blades that come out this simply, you simply flick this lever down and you pull the blade out. When you want to put it back in, and this is all while it's attached to the table. So if you're using a Fraser or a Bliss, you've got to either pop those sucker feet or unclamp it, flip it over. Often you have to get a wrench and you got to wrench that nut off, drop the handle out, and that's why I had 3 of them on my desk, so I never had to change a blade. This, for me, is cutter heaven. This is the best thing that this is the best. And I think most of the people will agree that if you don't have a cutter, if you don't have a Beeline cutter, you're going to want one. So don't waste your time buying a cheaper Bliss or Fraser or Rigby, because those all have problems. Go to the Beeline cutter straight away. It's more expensive. Take the hit up front, put it on a Visa card, pay it off in monthly payments, whatever you got to do, because you will save money in the long run.
If they can find all, because those are interchangeable.
Right. Yeah.
I have the alt.
Good point, Diana. So the Larry Alt in Shelby, Ohio, makes a cutter that's very similar. He made it during the time when Mr. Townsend died, but before they sold it and they announced that the cutters are coming back. There was a bit of a panic during that time. And it was like prohibition. People were paying way too much for cutter blades. I know a friend personally who paid $400 for one blade because she was afraid she would never be able to get one. So buy them now, get them in hand, don't be a part of the panic. And you are welcome, Tammy. Thanks for asking the question and bailing me out. There's nothing worse than sitting here begging for questions, and many times it seems like that's what I'm doing. Anything else? I'm going to take a peek at the Zoom chat just because, okay, nothing there. Just in case one of you pop something in there and it stopped working. So are we done? Are there any more questions? I think my internet is struggling because I can't see anybody. I just have fingers crossed. Okay, I think we're good for today. Thank you. If you are a member of VOW, which is virtual online workshop where I help you individually with your rugs, I am going live on that at 5:30 today. So be sure to join me at 5:30 for the VOW class. Oh, we have some kind of a weather warning. My weather alarm is going off. Hopefully my husband knows what to do about that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off just in case it's a tornado warning. Could be something as simple as a flood warning. which luckily we are nice and high and we're way above the flooding limit. Tammy, I do see your new question. I'm gonna make a special video on just that. How's that? Okay, so subscribe to my YouTube channel. Come back on Wednesday with Kim for a live hook in. Sometimes I'm there, depends on my schedule. And then come back on Saturday with me for a live hook in. It's more of a social event than it is an actual lesson. But every Tuesday, inside the Rug Cooking Journey membership, I do what I call office hours, and you've just gotten a taste of it. So thank you all for showing up, and I will hopefully, when I end this will end everything. But if it doesn't, if you're on YouTube and I haven't ended it, let me know. Okay, thanks guys. See you later.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thanks.
Bye.
So what is that, a flood warning? It's a tornado